Alright guys, welcome to this Complexity Cast presentation. I'm your casting host, Beef. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am bringing you the first round here in HoN Tour Cycle 1. The qualifiers are done, and we're finally into the main event. The first season will span for the next 9 days, well the first cycle that is, spans for the next 9 days in Complexity here. In the Diamond Division, we'll be going up for their share of $16,000 prize pool, including a $4,000 first place prize, as well as all the points associated with it. So you know that Complexity is going to be playing their hearts out after some disappointing results in the last two competitions. The HoN Tour qualifiers taking 4th and 2nd over at DreamHoN at DreamHack Winter. Complexity's back. They want to be taking this one home, but in their way right now, we do have on the other side Pencils, and I've actually got to update this right here real quickly. Sorry guys, I'm doing this on the fly here, so let's do that, and there we go. Okay, so I am solo casting, as you might hear. There's nobody else here with me right now. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get anybody else staff access to the game on short notice, and all of my normal co-casters are, of course, playing here in the tournament. So here we go, though. We've already gotten pretty deep into the banning phase. If we actually take a look back up here, we are looking at blind bans. Parasite and Fade coming out of Complexity, and Ophelia Wild Soul going to be coming out of Pencils. So some pretty standard bans right there. Wild Soul, of course, being such a strong suicide hero, just such a strong hero in general, in conjunction with Keeper of the Forest, their ability to consistently pull that creep wave back in the suicide capacity. Very, very, very strong. So, yeah, you see that band coming out of Hellborn right there. Parasite and Fade, two heroes that B-Kid consistently does not want to play against. Parasite, just one of those god-tier heroes. And Fade, of course, with her global map presence and ability to gank anyone, anywhere, especially in combination with heroes like Nymphora. Yeah, pretty strong hero. Not too shocking that that is banned. And Ophelia, the last band coming out there for Pablo McDad. Wants to make sure that Chessie does not get a hold of that hero. One of the strongest Ophelia players in the scene, of course. And although Chessie did not have the greatest success with Ophelia at DreamHack Winter, you can still say that Ophelia is the top player in the world for that hero. And giving it to him, probably not the best idea. Already, though, we do have the locks completing right here. B-Kid, first locks, Bubbles. Of course, one of Moon Meander's favorite heroes, and we even saw B-Kid playing on Bubbles a couple of times during DreamHack Winter, playing that suicide role. And of course, just a hero with a lot of counter initiation utility, a lot of escape utility. Easy to get a good amount of levels on that hero in the suicide lane, so very, very strong. Out next, Plague Rider and Tempest, as well as Keeper of the Forest here at the end. So those are more heroes that have suicide capacity. Plague and Keeper, of course, two of the best heroes in that suicide role, of course. Tempest, another hero that Moon likes to play, both in the suicide role or in the jungle, so not be surprised if we see that come out. And rounding it out, Electrician Rhapsody. So these are two heroes that you don't see very often. If we take a look back up here, they were both locked by B-Kid, so B-Kid might actually have something kind of crafty up his sleeve. We will have to see. I've seen B-Kid play on that Electrician. I've also seen Moon play a Suicide Electrician. I have not seen Complexity run Rhapsody in a very long time, so I'd be very interested to see that one come out. Bans. B-Kid banning Dark Lady, Warbeast, and Nymphora. So Nymphora in concert with that Fade. He's looking like he does not want to be getting ganked too much, so I like that quite a bit. Dark Lady and Warbeast, of course, two very strong late-game heroes, and Warbeast with that pushing potential. The bands coming out of Pablo McDad for Pencils, Tundra, Silhouette, and Zephyr. So the Bird making his way into the ban pool here, as well as Tundra, another one of those map-controlling heroes, and Silhouette, probably the strongest ranged agi carry in the game right now. Not surprised to see that come out in the banning phase. First pick here for Complexity is, in fact, Pebbles. So going to be seeing a lot of action on there. B-Kid likes to play that hero quite a bit. Pebbles has been recently run as a dual lane mid, so we'll see if that is in fact what Complexity chooses to do. They've already got a hero to complement that pretty well, but another hero that would have gone well is Engineer, along with Polywonk Priest. Two very, very strong heroes over here for Pencils. So they're going to be going into their lineup with CC heavy Polywog Priest and some serious push potential as well. Back to complexity, next picks are in fact Aluna as well as Wretched Hag. So Hag, a hero that Haxorn has shown time and time again that he is very, very comfortable playing. He is so strong, and Hag just really, he gets the farm that he needs, and then he's able to make huge plays happen inside of those team fights. So nice pick up there for complexity. And Aluna, of course, such a strong support, someone that Franzi is incredibly comfortable with. The last normal pick is, in fact, Meraxis over here, currently on Flensmeister. We'll see if that gets changed around or not. I don't know if Flens is actually going to be playing that. Actually, I think I have seen Flens play that one before, so might stick right there. But we are already done over here for the Hellborn side. But really quickly, the first lockpick comes out, and it is Keeper of the Forest, one of those god-tier heroes right now. Some are calling him the best hero in the game. Others are calling for the nerf bat. But this hero, everyone can agree, is very, very strong. Would not be surprised to see Moon Meander playing that one in a suicide role. Or if they pick up another suicide, Chessie could very well be playing that one. Although, with that Plague Rider last pick right there, Chessie often plays Plague in the jungle. Or excuse me, not in the jungle. Plague in the jungle, wouldn't that be something? Plague in the suicide role. But no, it looks like Moon's going to play the suicide Plague Rider right there. On the other side, rounding out the lockpick is, in fact, Bubbles and Tempest. So going to have that jungler, going to have that suicide being played by Pablo McDad. And let's get it on. Indeed, right there, announcer. We are going into it. The first game of HoN Tour Cycle 1 right here. Complexity versus Pencils on coLcast with Beef. Let's do it. Complexity rounding out their lineup now. They do have B-Kid and Aluna going mid. So B-Kid going to be on that Pebbles. Will most likely be mid. Plague Rider right now does have the boots as well as the ward. Going to be going top for the time being, dropping that ward. Chessie, of course, going to be in the jungle, and Haxorn going to solo the short lane on Wretched Hag, a position that he is very, very comfortable with. Let's get this overlay changed up once again there. Sorry, guys, I'm working with these new overlays for the first time here today, so forgive me if they are a little bit slow to get updated. I'm by myself, no production crew behind me, no co-caster even, so I've got to do this all on my own, and the titles are correct. Cool. So over here for Pencils, they of course do have Pablo McDad on that Bubbles, their suicide player, already able to get that ward down just like Moon was able to. So that's a big part of being in the suicide lane, is getting a ward from your teammates, buying your boots ASAP, and running down to that lane, getting the pull ward off so that you're not giving your opponent too much of an easy time. So Pablo going to be suiciding. We do have Tempest over here. He's going to head to the jungle, but first he'll be denying a creep in this long lane. Merax is going to team up with Engineer here in the middle lane, so double stun lane going to be very, very strong. And short lane solo going to be Flensmeister. And now Polywog Priest being played by Flens up here. Not something that we see in the short lane solo position too often. Normally you see either a hard carry in that position or someone that's going to snowball really, really hard and that might have an escape mechanism. So, very, very interesting to see that. And we actually see rotation coming out here. Wretched Hag is going to be going middle with Complexity sending B-Kid and Franzi bottom with that Aluna Pebbles combination. So, Aluna should be able to do a very nice job here defending this lane against Pablo McDad's Bubbles. Bubbles really should not have a good time down there at all. I would not be surprised to see that hero at level 1 or level 2 at 5-6 minutes into the game. So, we'll see how much Pablo McDad's able to get done down here, as he's already actually taken... We saw a power throw right there and a few auto attacks from Aluna, so nice job. Pablo doing what a support has to do, though, sometimes, and that's just hide in the trees, get any experience that you can, and it looks like the lane's actually pushing up right here. B-Kid going to do his best to deny it back, but already Pablo manages to snag a last hit, so doing very nice. Aluna grabs the pull, though, and she's going to go back right to harassing. Wretched Hag in the middle, going to be going up against Meraxis for the time being, as Engineer's actually doing a little bit of roaming. And I like this. I like that the roam is coming out of Engineer, but already the lane pushing up here for Polywog Priest as well. With that Extinguish, Plague Rider is able to keep his lane denied back quite a bit and in his position, similar to how a Keeper of the Forest or a War Beast would use his minions to pull that back up. And I'm sure Chessie did, in fact, use his minions up in this location to pull that wave back into favorable lane position. Middle lane, fine on that engineer, is trying to push up onto Haxorn's Wretched Hag here. And if Hax gets caught out by an unlikely keg and then followed up immediately with a stomp, turret, axes, something like that, he could find himself in a lot of trouble. The keg goes out right there, but unfortunately it's going to miss. The axe follow-up does miss as well, as Wretched Hag does blink back very, very quickly. Now, Hax is already very low on mana at this point. If we take a look, he does in fact have 7 CS, so going up against that solo Miraxis, it's very nice of him to get that, and right there he gets a lucky regen rune, so that's going to be very nice. Brings that back into lane. Fine's going to spot that out, and he might try to break that relatively early. No, okay. And Haxorn just going to keep blinking, keep that regen rune active, makes his way back toward middle lane, and resets all the same. Luna, once again, doing a nice job down here, but a very good job from Pablo McDad as well to be able to get that level 2 relatively quickly. If the lane hadn't pushed up like it did, I think that they might have blocked possibly just a little bit too much right here, or that the deny from Tempest had really been a little bit too much. If that lane had not pushed up, that Bubbles would be level 1 right now, and he'd probably be staying level 1 for quite some time. But because of that early push, that's most likely a result of the Tempest deny, Pablo McDad's going to be able to get quite a bit of CS, but he's being collapsed on right here. B-Kid's going to be coming in. The Shell Surf already out, though, and he's able to get out of there. So B-Kid not quite able to land those stalagmites just yet. Here in the middle lane, Haxorn does have his bottle, so Hax actually doing very, very well right now. If we actually take a look at the GPMs, Miraxis is sitting pretty on 350 GPM. Relo currently at 22 and 5 CS, so that's absolutely fantastic. But Hax in this 1v2 lane is holding his own for sure, sitting at 212 GPM and 12 and 1 CS, so not bad at all. Polywog Priest taking a lot of pressure up here, and he's actually been hit by a couple of the Contagion nukes from Moonmeander, playing this Plague Rider, and that's one thing that you really have to worry about. Plague is such an effective suicide solo because of this right here. He might actually get a kill right here on Polywog Priest. 2 more auto attacks might be all that it takes. No, the armor might be enough, but Boots, Plague Rider should be able to run this guy down. 1 more auto attack, 1 more auto attack. Come on, get it, Moon. No, the power supply coming out right there. And the tongue tie. Polywog Priest is going for the turnaround. The Hex and Moonmeander is going to fall right there. Flensmeister with the bait and switch right there. Moon gives up first blood. And Pencils is off to a great start right there. Moon got very, very greedy. I mean, you heard how many times I said 1 more auto attack right there. This is, that's got to be rough for Moon. He just wanted to secure that one and wasn't quite able to. Flensmeister with a great play there, making sure to have that tongue tie available to him. And if we actually take a look at Flen's build, he does have 3 points into his Forked Lightning, but choosing not to use that, knowing that the tower was going to simply put out more damage at that point, and he needed the CC in order to make sure that he did not take any return fire and, in fact, die. Mid lane, Relo on this, or excuse me, Fine on this Engineer is actually taking quite a bit of damage here. So Wretched Hag doing a nice job putting in those auto attacks. If we take a look at hero damage, Hag's put out 24% of the hero damage in this game, so making sure to keep that harass going. Down here, Luna trying to keep Bubbles back as best as he can. He's doing a very good job at this point. Bubbles is, in fact, still level 2. If we take a look at the experience per minute charts, Bubbles down there at 65, so even lower than a Luna, which is, of course reflects in that level 3 that a Luna does have. Wretched Hag being forced to blink back there once again. About 15 seconds away from the rune spawn here, so Hax might try to lean toward one of those runes and pick one of those up, which could give her the advantage that she needs to get back into this middle lane. 170 GPM right now on the Wretched Hag, not exactly where Hax wants to be, and both players going to be racing for the rune top, but it is of course bottom, so it looks like Aluna going to be camping that one for the time being. Fine going to be coming over here as well, though, so Francie actually going to pick that one up and jets on out of there. Moving back toward the bottom lane over here. Now, Chessie has come out of the jungle at level 5 like he so often does, immediately hits level 6. This is his game plan. He hits level 6 in the lane really quickly and immediately either ganks or tries to get the push off. And Pencils does a good job of responding to this. Engineer already here, a nice keg, going to be able to separate and stun those trees for quite a bit, and activates the glyph right there as well. Middle lane, Miraxis trying to get something done with Hag, but not quite able to. The Shell Surf spam as well as the keg turret combination might be able to delay this for the time being. Another nice keg and turret coming in right there, but this defensive tower is going to be going down, whether it will be denied or not. Nope. Complexity takes the first tower. Actually, Sweet Pro on the Tempest takes the first tower up here in the top lane by about 1/100th of a second. Pencils takes the first tower, so a very nice job there by Pencils getting that counter push down. And when you know that your opponent's able to push and you're not able to stop it, that's one of the best things that you can do. Polywog, Priest, and Tempest, both of course very, very effective pushers. The ward drop right there, in addition to the Tempest Elemental, securing a nice, easy tower push. And Plague Rider, unfortunately, unlike Bubbles, cannot stop those pushes very easily, even with the assistance of that Engineer. I mean, you saw that go down there, but Bubble still has that Shell Surf that he can at least delay it. Plague, not so much. Unless you're going to drop the ultimate onto that creep wave, not going to happen. Complexity continues their push down here, though, as this tower is at about 20% life. Another set of Tree Dogs are, in fact, being summoned here by Chessie, so he wants to go in on this. But another great keg. Fine showing us just how effective those kegs can be. The toss comes in there, actually missing a little bit. So B-Kid not able to quite secure that one. Attempted deny right there, but no. B-Kid actually grabs that last hit, propelling the Pebbles up to 460 GPM. So Trouf talks about it all the time, getting that early farm on your initiators. Damn if B-Kid does not have that early farm. He's only level 6, but he has Steam Boots, he has Portal Key, and he's even got some more gold saved up. He's looking in fantastic position right now. Now, of course, this is dropping a little bit. Getting 2 towers right there, of course, does inflate that GPM just a bit. And that Portal Key goes to use right there, as in fact, Pablo McDad bites the dust. Level 3 Bubbles, probably not prepared for a Portal Key, as it looks like B-Kid did, in fact, just pick up that Portal Key down here and immediately just marched back up to that bubble. So I'm sorry, that was a very, very quick kill that I missed right there. But now that I know that Pebbles does have that Portal Key and he's not afraid to use it, I'll be keeping a close eye on the Captain of Complexity over here. Now, Haxorn in the middle lane doing a very nice job. 259 GPM at this point. And he is, in fact, doing very, very well against the opposing team. 366 GPM here for Miraxis, sitting with that bottle, Steam Boots, and Mystic Vest. And so he's got the coat on, doesn't want to have to deal with all this magic damage, which... that's something I haven't talked about. The magic damage here on Complexity is almost exclusively what they have. Really, it is exclusively what they have. They have auto attacks, and they have magic damage. So those Mystic Vestments, would not be surprised to see those come out on quite a few heroes. Keeper of the Forest making his way over here to tag team these triple stacked Ancients with Illuna. Going to be a nice boon to Complexity, who already finds themselves in a 1,300 gold lead and 500 experience lead for the time being. Now, the X Factor here are, of course, going to be this Tempest. The Quake actually coming out right there from Miraxis. Not quite able to find Haxorn, though. Hax just going to keep on doing his farm thing. Hax is, of course, one of these players that we constantly talk about, that despite how bad the farm can be for him due to adverse lanes in the early game, he will always find that farm. And speaking of finding something, B-Kid actually picks up a power supply as well as an Invis Rune right there. So the Invis Rune to complement that Portal Key. Pablo McDad could be in a little bit of trouble once again, as Pebbles wants to come over here and find that lone little turtle. But no. Oh no, he finds him right there. The combo comes out. Pablo McDad falls, and B-Kid immediately teleporting out of there. All that due to that Ward of Sight there up on the high ground. Over here in the middle lane, though, Pencils is trying to find something. Double damage Miraxis, that should be wearing off very quickly here. Yeah, wears off just right there, but they're looking for the push. The ward drop should be coming out here relatively soon. The flank from Miraxis could be useful, though. Haxorn actually gets caught right there on that Wretched Hag, and Miraxis is now in a little bit of an odd position. It looks like there could be a very large team fight. B-Kid actually spots out Miraxis right there. The ward drop comes in, And so we'll see the combo goes out onto Meraxis right there. Immediately followed up with the Matrax. Hag lands a nice ultimate catching Polywog Priest and Engineer right there. The defensive tower is going to fall to these Tempest Elementals and the wards. The Glyph actually goes off. The Root going off as well, catching Tempest and Meraxis. And it looks like after all of that, Flensmeister gets denied there on the Polywog Priest. The Haunt coming out from Hag was all that Fine needed to get that deny off. And that was the only casualty in that push. So the tower goes down, and wow, a very nice job there from Pencils to get that tower, get out of there with only losing one player who was in fact denied. So nice job, and that's able to keep that gold lead relatively even at only 1,000 gold lead. And as soon as these triple stacked Ancients are cleaned up, now that could very well be diminished, although it looks like Pencils is having a little bit of hard time right now with all these Ancients. No one with a huge amount of tanky presence right here. I mean, Meraxis only at 900 life. He's going to drop the Quake once again, but one more set of auto attacks from these creeps could kill any of these players. Pablo McDad needs to be careful right there. And they're going to actually have to back off right here. So we'll see if B-Kid might actually try to snipe those. Yeah, B-Kid's actually going to go in right there. He drops the combo. He's able to pick up 4 of them so far. Make that 5. Will he go for one more? Yeah, Franzi and Hag going to come in right there. And Complexity actually cleans up every single one of those Ancients. So that was a total of 7 out of the 9 Ancients for Complexity. A nice job once again due to the great warding here by Franzi. They knew when that was going down. They knew when they were going to be able to get the snipe off. And that puts them in an even better economic advantage. Managing their opponent's resources right there is the way that Complexity really likes to secure themselves an advantage here in this game. Now, getting back to the other side, of course, Pencils is, they're looking for portal keys on a couple of their players themselves. So Chessie might be saving for one of his own. B-Kid, of course, already has his. But Sweet Pro here on this Tempest, as well as Meraxis being played by Flensmeister, could be looking for their portal keys, as they've got about 1,800 gold and 1,700 gold respectively saved up. And once those two items come out, there could be a lot more action, as the initiation potential for Pencils will be significantly greater at that point. Meraxis down here tries to farm that one out. B-Kid does already have this Mighty Blade though, so B-Kid continuing his very effective farm at 410 gold per minute, sitting at 2-0, but he does have kills on a couple of towers, as well as pretty decent CS here at 69 going into the 13-minute mark. Portal Key being picked up right there on Sweet Pro, going to complement that Mystic Vestments as well as the Ring of Sorcery and Steam Boots. So oftentimes you see just those red boots coming out instead of Steam Boots for a Tempest pre-Portal Key, but Sweet Pro playing a build that's a little bit more favored by some Europeans, including MyNuts, playing for Trademark Esports, who prefers to go for quite a few items before getting that Portal Key, and even sometimes going so far as to not get a Portal Key on that Tempest. So not exactly the most far-fetched thing to see right there. Franzi going to work here in the jungle, using those illusions to get a little bit of farm for himself, and that's something that Complexity generally does very, very well compared with their contemporaries, is gets farm on their support, on their secondary support, whatever have you. And you typically never see Franzi going into the mid game with absolutely nothing, like you'll see on, say, Nova sometimes. Nova has a very distinct style of really sacrificing absolutely everything for his team. Franzi typically does a good job of being able to get a few items for himself. So does Leon Black for TTEs. That's something that I really noticed. Leon Black and White Talaba, both of them, when they're playing that support role, they're able to get some items. So whether that is something big like a push stick, or whether that's even just something small like a Grave Locket or a power supply, every little bit there helps for your support. It makes it so that they're not so much cannon fodder for the other team. So Fine also doing a nice job getting a couple of items right there. He's in fact just sitting on marchers for the time being and working with those wards and counter wards. But we'll see who starts developing some items going into the mid game here relatively soon. Although Fine only level 5 right now, as well as this Bubbles, who's just hit level 5, sitting on that Grave Locket of his own, and of course the Guardian Ring. So he's going to be looking for a Ring of the Teacher at some point. Typically as a suicide or a solo in those side lanes, you want to have that Ring of the Teacher up very, very soon. But hey, going into 16 minutes right here, Pablo McDad still does not have that one up. And that really kind of tells you the pace of this game, that Pablo just did not have a good time down there. Now, Haxerin, in fact, does have that Ring of the Teacher in that solo mid position, was able to get a decent amount of farm, and Franzi, unfortunately, does time out right there. So hoping that Peter's going to be able to get back into this game very, very soon. I would not want to see something like a remake or Complexity forced to play 4-on-5, and as this is in fact a live cast here, we do have to sit through this replay, and I don't have a co-caster here to talk with me, so I'm going to talk with you guys for just a couple of minutes here while this game's going on. But if it goes on to like 10 minutes or something, we might have to cut to music and just allow me to save my voice, because I've got a lot of casting coming up this weekend. Rounds 1 and 2 of HoN Tour today, rounds 3 and 4 of HoN Tour tomorrow, and then going to be going back all next week and casting a lot of those games that we missed from the Diamond Tournament, and of course keeping an eye on the Gold League Tournament, which has some very, very strong players as well in it. So we could be looking at that. But the current state of things in this game, 3,200 gold lead for Complexity, 4,700 experience lead. So Complexity finding himself in a very nice position. B-Kid on those Pebbles does have the Mighty Blade, going to be making his way toward a Shrunken Head, one can assume, relatively quickly here. And he's about 1,600 gold away at this point. Chesney on the Keeper of the Forest, sitting on Red Boots, Mana Ring, and picking up that Portal Key right there. Doing a very nice job for himself, getting those items. And with that Portal Key to counteract Tempest's Portal Key, whenever Sweet Pro goes in for that Elemental Void, I'm very sorry, then Keeper of the Forest is going to be able to counter-initiate, drops that Portal Key in, and gets that root, which does in fact go through Shrunken Head. It does stop with that mini-stun any kind of Tempest ult coming out right there. So going to be very nice for getting the counter-initiation off. Moon on the Plague Rider right now, 0, 1, and 0. I mean, there's only been 3 kills in this game so far. So very, very low kill score game going into 17 minutes at this point. Moon, though, doing a nice job of getting the farm that he needs, sitting at 275 GPM on a comfortable 70 CS and an impressive 56 denies right there. Able to get that Astrolabe, Steam Boots, Power Supply, and even making his way toward, one would think, a push stick, Tablet of Command with this Major Totem. Of course, it could be going into something like a Gnome's Wisdom as well, but we'll have to see what Moon decides to turn that one into. Haxerin currently sitting on 1,500 gold in addition to his mid-game items, Steam Boots, Ring of the Teacher, Power Supply, and Bottle. So he's able to get quite a bit of mana regen. Would not be surprised to see Hax purchase a Blessed Orb or even an Acolyte Staff with that gold that he's saving up. Once he gets to those, maybe we start working on something like a Quick Sheep. On the other side of things, Meraxis has just picked up his Portal Key. So to complement the Steam Boots, Bottle, and Mystic Vestments that he has, Meraxis should be able to get off some strong initiations here in the upcoming team fights. Fine, once again, working on those Red Boots, doing his ward thing. Pablo McDad able to secure his boots as well as Grave Locket. And of course, Sweet Pro, we already talked about his items, picking up that Portal Key. That should be nice for him. Polywog Priest. Now, Flensmeister, this is an interesting story up here. He was the short lane solo. If we compare the short lane solo to the short lane duo down here in the bottom lane, B-Kid certainly got the better farm. And even Haxerin, who is 2v1 mid right now, does have better farm than Flensmeister. And a lot of that comes down to Flensmeister not being able to secure a whole ton of CS in the lanes. 51 CS as opposed to 70 for Wretched Hag. But a lot of that comes down to the towers as well. Complexity has managed to push a total of 3 towers so far, 2 here in the bottom lane. And actually, they've only pushed 2 towers. What am I talking about? They have not touched the top lane. I thought that that tower was dead. So yeah, I guess that's mostly CS right there, and then just a little bit of tower disparity as they weren't able to get that second tier. Although all 3 outer towers here for Complexity have gone down, so very, very interesting. But Franzi has reconnected right there, and the game restarted immediately. I hope Pablo McDad is back. No, he's still back a little bit. He's still AFK for just a little bit right there. So a little bit of mistake coming out right there. But looks like they might be ready to go again. And in fact, the game has been restarted. So the state of things here right now, Complexity tries to get this off right there. Hag comes in with the Bat Blast as well as the Sonar Scream. The Matrax is activated. The ultimate comes out from Tempest, but immediately canceled there by Chessie. The Plagu out bouncing around, trying to take down Tempest. The toss comes out. Kelpfield catching a couple of players right there. Tempest, in fact, going to fall, but a Ward Trap comes out onto Haxorin, and Haxorin does fall to that Ward Trap. The tower joins him, though. Pablo McDad comes in with a double tap right there, falls immediately after the Beacon, and now Flensmeister gets tossed out of there. Fine goes down. Chessie comes in. He wants to get the last hits here onto Pablo McDad. Will Beacon be able to come in for the assist? Will he be able to get the portal key in the toss-off? Doesn't even need it. Poor man's portal key on that creep right there. And Beacon picks up a quad kill. Meraxis is TPing back in right here. He wants to get the PK off, maybe secure a kill onto Franzi. The Emerald Lightning going to come out right there. Though, will he be able to find Franzi? We'll see. He's trying to look for him. Chessie might be able to get the Nature's Veil off, though. And actually, Meraxis goes for B-Kid instead. And that was not the player that you want to get as B-Kid. Just portal keys on out of there. Although the Keg and the turret going to be going down right there. And the Shell Surf going to finish off Franzi. So a couple of counter kills for Pencils, and they even spot out Chessie right here, who does not have mana for another Nature's Veil. He could be in some trouble. The Meteor goes down as well as the Quake, the Keg as well, and Chessie will fall. Chessie was kind of lagging behind right there as a result of trying to save Franzi, so a nice job being able to get the counter kill at that point. So Pencils makes the best of a bad situation at this point. Complexity extends their lead in this game to about 5,000 gold, still the same experience lead at 4,200, but if they had not given up a couple of extra kills there at the end, they would have been in a much better position. But what can you do? I mean, not the hugest losses. They didn't lose B-Kid, so B-Kid's farm is still absolutely trucking. He's going to be finishing his Shrunken Head here in about 50 gold. And once he finishes that, you can sure bet that he's going to be very, very much so happy at being able to jump into those team fights and just say, hey, I've got a Shrunken Head. You guys can't do anything to me. So we'll see if he does, in fact, pick that up, as he's holding on to his gold for the time being. He might be looking to pick something else up, but I would expect it. No, there it is. Shrunken Head is, in fact, picked up right there. So B-Kid going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with in these upcoming team fights. Wretched Hag picks up an Arcana here, so going to be making his way toward that Hellflower, excuse me. And that's going to be a very, very nice item to have. That Hellflower will, of course, be crucial in bursting down some of these heroes and, of course, interrupting others. So if you land that Hellflower, the 20% damage increase on somebody like Meraxis, as well as 4 seconds of not being able to cast that Matrax's highly defensive spell right there, could be absolutely crucial to bursting down that very, very tanky hero in some of these upcoming team fights. B-Kid actually being initiated on right here by Relo, and it looks like B-Kid might have to activate that Shrunken Head. Turns around with the toss right there, though, and it's unfortunate that B-Kid did have to just use that 10-second Shrunken Head. That's going to be on cooldown for over 70 seconds at this point, and yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but he didn't die, so that's, of course, the more important thing right there. And Pencils now turns their attention back toward these triple stack Ancients, which they've done a very good job of stacking and killing at this point. You oftentimes see Complexity really doing a great job of keeping that maybe warded, blocked by tree dogs, something along those lines. But Complexity hasn't been too successful in blocking that this time. I don't know if their focus has been elsewhere, but not too worried about that one, it appears. And right now, the gold and experience lead really remaining somewhat even right here. It's not snowballing out of control for Complexity, which is a little bit impressive to me. When you're sitting with a 450 GPM Meraxis, Pebbles, I would really expect him to maybe have a little bit more of a lead. But Complexity playing it safe right now. And they're just comfortable to keep on farming, getting that farm out on Wretched Hag, who's up to 301 GPM right now, and just very, very slowly extend this lead. They don't want to make any mistakes, throw this game away. They know this is the game that they should be favored in, so just looking to do that one real quick. 7R. I don't even know what they're talking about right now, but interesting. Pablo McDad on the bubbles, saving money now. He's at 1,450 gold, so going to be looking for that portal key of his own. Portal key was just picked up here on Flensmeister. Excuse me, Flensmeister up here. There he is on that Polywog Priest. So he's going to be able to use that to land some ward traps if they ever do catch anyone out of position. And once Pablo picks up that portal key on Bubbles, Pencil will be sitting pretty at 3 portal keys. And they'll be looking excuse me, 4 portal keys they're going to be looking at. And if Engineer were to ever pick one up, then they would have an entire team of portal keys, but I don't think that's going to happen. But 4 portal keys, that is a lot of initiation. That is a lot of mobility and really ability to get in there, initiate, yada, yada, yada. Right now, Polywog Priest sitting here up here in the trees. Looks like he might want to make something happen as well. So we'll see. The Shell Surf going to be coming out right there. And the trees, they don't care. Turret going to go down as well, but this defensive tower will be dropping. Last hit, in fact, goes to Haxer right there, and Portal Keys back. Plensmeister says, I don't want to get caught by anybody right now. Portal Keys, and then immediately TPs behind that, so they might choose to set up something over here at the tier 2. Marax is trying to get his farm on down here bottom. 2,200 gold right now, so he might buy an item before he tries to get up here. We'll keep a close eye on that one. Now, unless Tempest is able to get Keeper of the Forest in an upcoming ult here, I really don't see a position where Pencil should be able to take this team fight, unless Complexity just gets really, really out of position. And we'll see. It's always a possibility. Shell Surf comes in right there, cleaning up quite a few creeps, actually. The nuke coming out from Polywog Priest to help out with that as well. Moonmeander does, in fact, look like he's going for that push stick, so he'll be able to finish that as soon as he gets back to town after this upcoming tower fight, provided that he doesn't die without killing anybody, so we shall see. Now, Moon's doing a very nice job of keeping that Cursed Shield on everybody on his team. That is, in fact, level 3 right now, so it should be providing 9 armor, if I am correct. 6 armor. I think that got nerfed at some point. Actually, Maraxis comes in right there with the Quake. Catches Plague Rider. The counter initiation over here onto Polywog Priest, though. B-Kid not quite able to get the combo off, but all the same, Polywog Priest absolutely drops. The energy field was used right there. The Bat Blast comes in, hitting reload, but doing actually 0 damage as the Matrix had just collapsed right there. So a little bit of a misplay from Haxerin, but it's going to be able to force the Hellborn team back for the time being. And this should give Complexity the room that they need to take this tower if they so choose to do so. Now, Keeper of the Force does still have his ultimate available, and we'll see if he does choose to use it. He's not going to be coming into the battle, though, until Tempest uses that ultimate. So it actually looks like Sweet Pro gets to dictate that pace, and Pencils chooses to retreat for the time being. Without Polywog Priest, without his wards, they are not comfortable taking that team fight, and with good reason. Taking a look at the golden experience lead now, Complexity up to 8,700 gold, as well as 6,200 experience. So this is a little bit more of the snowball that I was talking about. 5 towers down here, the only remaining outer tower here in the second tier in the middle lane. Complexity securing quite a bit of map control. You see Franzi constantly dropping wards all around the map, making sure to give good vision and set up heroes like Wretched Hank, set up heroes like Pebbles to get those very nice pickoffs. And we'll see if Complexity does, in fact, do those as the Wretched Hag picks up that Hellflower right there. Chessie, in fact, picking up a Shaman's Headrest, so going to be going for a Barrier Idol relatively soon here to complement those Plated Greaves, and I like that quite a bit. There's a lot of magic damage coming out from the other team between Maraxis, Bubbles, and Engineer, and of course, things like Polywog Priest's Jolt, as well as the Glacial Blast and Meteor coming out of Tempest, so I like that quite a bit. Pencils, once again, doing a nice job of making sure to keep their resource management proper, taking advantage of the triple stacked Ancients that they've been working on all game. They're forced to retreat for the time being, seeing that Complexity's grouped up once again. They're not going to stop until all of these outer towers are down, because once these towers are down, Complexity's going to get much, much more aggressive in terms of aggressively farming their enemy team's jungle, the enemy team's Ancients. They could set up a Kongor kill, or even look for the racks, but we shall see. Portal key back there, so not gonna engage once again. Pencils biding their time, trying to wait for Complexity to get sloppy, knowing that in a straight up fight right now they simply can't contend with the levels and the farm of the Complexity team. So they're going to wait until Complexity makes a mistake, until one player is segmented off and out of position, until they can get a nice pick. But it actually looks like Polywog Priest could have been picked right there. If he didn't portal key out, they could have easily picked him off with a portal key in from Pebbles and a quick combo down. But this is what I'm talking about. When Complexity has that map advantage, they will oftentimes go in there, they'll steal your Ancients, they'll steal your jungle, and immediately they're counter warding and setting up for a con kill. We already see one ward right here. Would not be surprised to see another one or a courier come up in this position as Complexity looks to take out Kongor relatively soon here. Franzi making his way up there. This is what I'm talking about here on Franzi. With all this tower gold, he has managed to get Bracer, Power Supply, Ghost Marches. You don't see items like that on your supports very often. Sitting at 200 GPM, he's at the same kind of gold and experience range as Pablo McDad on the bubbles in the other team. So a nice job, and a lot of that comes down to really great team fights from Complexity. Franzi making sure not to give up too many kills and getting a little bit of farm here and there. Kongor going down slowly but steadily here. B-Kid wants to come in though, and a hasted Wretched Hag could be the follow-up that he needs. They might want to make something happen right now as a power throw goes out right there, giving them a little bit of vision, and B-Kid's going to fall back for the time being. He wants to be able to get a pick, but he wants to be able to get the right pick. Ward of Sight going down right there for Fine, and that's actually a very nice Ward of Sight. I don't think that's in range of the Ward of Revelation. We'll see as they come up the hill right here. It is in fact not, so Pencils could be able to get good positioning. Miscommunication though. Bubbles grabs the kelp field onto just Pebbles right there. Tempest comes in, dropping the Glacial Blast as well. The ultimate comes out, but immediately canceled by the Keeper of the Forest ultimate. The Plague bouncing around as well. Going to be bouncing between Meraxis and it looks like Pebbles as well as Tempest. Going to be taking a lot of damage right there. Plague Rider in the midst of things, and Pebbles is in a little bit of trouble being pushed out right there by Plague Rider. Moon going to take them around into the other direction though. Wants to make sure that B-Kid gets out of there safely. Moon going to sacrifice himself for the rest of his team right there. Aluna trying to TP on out of there right now and does manage to get it off. It was a little bit scary with Chessie actually getting rid of those trees, and Chessie going to Portal Key out of there as well. So if we take a look, a little bit of stock of what happened there, Haxerin did in fact fall there at the beginning. So a nice job getting the kill. Kill did in fact go to Engineer, and now it looks like Pencils is comfortable to actually take a counter Kongor kill here. So that fight did not go so well. The only kill for Complexity was in fact on Tempest. The Tempest ultimate was down, but getting 2 kills onto that Plague Rider and the Hag, well worth it for Pencils. Now unfortunately they weren't able to get that Kongor kill. They weren't comfortable with that, knowing that Hag had died very, very early on into that fight. And it looks like Aluna going to make his way over here. A nice Word of Revelation. You gotta love these support players on all these professional teams. They just have a sixth sense for where those wards are. They're like, huh, they got a kind of a weird initiation on us right there. They probably have some vision that they were able to get us caught out of position, and drops that counter ward in all the positions that might. The combo comes in right there from Meraxis. The Hellfire being applied. That's what I'm talking about. Meraxis goes down right there. Glacial Blast being applied to Haxerin as well, but does not even matter. This is going to be a free Kongor now as Meraxis is down for 50 seconds. Engineer now out of position. The keg goes out right there, and it looks like there was an attempted snipe. Polywog Priest actually grabs the token of life right there, so a nice job by Flensmeister. He's taken a lot of damage though from Pebbles. Wretched Hag drops the Bat Blast, missing everyone though. Sweet Pro's in some trouble as well. The token of life activated, immediately followed up though by the Stalagmites. The Chainsaw Massacre. Matrax being activated right there. Relo is going to be initiating onto Chessie. Counterward going down, so Meraxis has bought back for the time being, running that tree into those counter wards, and Flensmeister going to fall for the second time right there. Nice job by Beacon getting in and out of there without dying. Chessie's going to fall right here. Almost, yeah, there we go. Chessie does fall. Haxerin on that Wretched Hag, as well as Aluna and Pebbles. They want some more though. Haxerin's going to blink in here. The Hellfire is applied, and down goes Meraxis once again. That's what I'm talking about with that Hellflower. Able to get those kills, get in and out before Meraxis is able to get those spells off. So Flensmeister dies twice right there. Meraxis dies twice with a buyback right there. Oh man, this is looking rough for Pencils. It was a beautiful Aegis snipe there by Flensmeister, but as soon as they committed to that Kongor fight, they needed the buyback on Meraxis, and Meraxis wasn't able to get there fast enough. So a nice job right there, and without the Tempest ultimate in that team fight, they really did not have a lot of CC power, with the Polywog Priest doing everything he could just to run away at that point. Now, B-Kid down here on this Pebbles, he's working on a Hellflower of his own, so they're going to have 2 Hellflowers to work with at this point. And I've actually got to check one thing. Is it looks like my internet is actually kind of very interesting. It looks like I'm sorry guys, there's a 6-minute delay right now, but it looks like Twitch actually just lost connection with my stream, so I'm sorry, dropping a lot of viewers right there. Apologies for any lag, but everything's fine on my end. This looks like a problem with the Twitch connection server, so not quite sure. So sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it'll get resolved as soon as it gets resolved. So taking a look at items once again, that Ogre Axe has in fact been picked up there for Haxorn, so going to be making his way toward a shrunken head of his own. Aluna now working on a tablet command, so it's a huge item for somebody like an Aluna. Actually, Pebbles going in with the combo right there. The Hellflower applied, and down goes Meraxes. In comes the ultimate there from Keeper of the Forest, and B-Kid on a bloodbath right now. 12-0-1. Pencils is in dire straits. 2 of their core players are down right now, and Complexity's in position to take the racks at this point. We'll see if they do go in right here, as they are in the bottom lane. And now, in terms of buybacks, neither of these players have a buyback available. They simply do not have the gold, sitting at 30 gold each of them. And it looks like Complexity should be able to take a relatively easy racks here. Barrier Idol activated. Doesn't want to take damage from that. Poor man's Portal Key back onto Engineer. Gets a very nice energy field off, but immediately killed by Keeper of the Forest. Stalagmites as well as the power throw and the Tree Dog surround with the Hellfire right there might be enough. In fact, the last hit goes to Franzi right there, who tries to get up there, but no, going to have to fall back for the time being, as they players are starting to retreat right here. Excuse me, starting to respawn. Polywog Priest and Meraxes are back up right now. A little bit of banter coming back between these players. Of course, they scrim constantly. I've cast Complexity versus Pencils quite a few times for scrims, so these teams, they know each other's styles very, very well, and very comfortable talking to them. But talking a little bit about how Franzi tried to get up in there and get that kill, but ended up paying for it with his life. Wretched Hag has, in fact, finished up that Shrunken Head now, as well as the Barrier Idol, which we did see activated there by Chessie on that Keeper of the Forest. B-Kid saving up some more money, so I'm interested to see what he might be working on here in the future. Pablo McDad, of course, has finished that Portal Key some time ago and is now starting to work on a Hellflower of his own. So Hellflower, the name of the game, as Meraxes picks up 2. Hellflower bees applied right there, but Wretched Hag getting baited in right there, not even able to get the Shrunken Head off Haxorn. Haxorn caught out of position right there. They have a Ward of Sight, but Pencils did a fantastic job of hiding Tempest right here and hiding Meraxes right there. So a very nice job trying to get that pick onto Bubbles, but immediately counter ganked, and Haxorn goes down right there. The Wretched Hag down for about 55 seconds, and so Complexity going to have to play a little bit scared as long as that Wretched Hag is down. Chessie sitting at a pretty healthy amount of gold as well now. Going to be interested to see if he finally decides to pick up a Souls. It's kind of interesting seeing how they do have a soul. They don't have a Souls right now, so very, very interesting for a heavy push team. There it is. The Souls being picked up there by Pebbles, and the Storm Spirit going to be coming out by Plague Rider as well. So very, very interesting. The Storm Spirit going to be very useful against anybody that does get Hellflowered. Now, a 3-second Storm Spirit duration will keep them up in the air and safe and vulnerable during the majority of that Hellflower burn. And once that comes down, then hopefully, with that only 1 second remaining, they'll be able to save that teammate whatsoever. So Storm Spirit, of course, a very nice counter to an item like a Hellflower, which you can already see the Pencils team is looking for. Ogre Axe being picked up here on Polywog Priest as well, so going to be looking for a Shrunken Head at some point up in the coming future. And Tempest already finishes up his Shrunken Head, so nice job there. Now we see an Arcana picked up by Keeper of the Forest being played by Chessie. Now this could be 2 things. This could be either a Hellflower to complement the 2 that are already on the team. More likely though, this is going to be a Refresher Orb, which is absolutely brutally good against a Tempest. Being able to have 2 Keeper of the Forest ultimates, 1 to break up that Tempest ultimate, and 1 to just really use for whatever the heck you want, walking down everybody, going to be very, very useful. Complexity grouping up for a push once again. Ward of Revelation down right here by Pencils. They don't want Fancy placing the ward. In comes Pebbles right there. The portal key going to come in, as well as the Stalagmites. But the turnaround, Pebbles might be in a little bit of trouble. Shrunken Head being activated, but Tempest actually going to fall right there. In fact, the Bat Blast hitting a number of people. The Matrax coming out as well. And Tempest immediately buys back. Shrunken Head activated, but canceled by the Keeper of the Forest right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's why Keeper of the Forest is so strong in relation to this Tempest. Everybody's all over the place. Kelpfield catching 2 players. Plagu is out bouncing around between Bubbles and Miraxis now. Going to be bouncing around out here in the back as well. And Pencils is in full retreat. Hellflower being applied. Poor man's portal key onto Chessie right there. And Polywalk Priest going to fall as well. Tempest and Engineer, the only 2 left up. GG well played's coming out right there. And Complexity takes game number 1 here in this best of 3 series. A very, very nice job. So well played to Complexity. At the end of that game, 1,900 gold and experience lead. Able to just dominate that game from start to finish. Very, very nice job. And we're going to be going into game 2, guys. So stick right here. This is Complexity Casts HoN Tour. Round 1, day 1, Complexity versus Pencils, best of 3. I'm your casting host, Beef. Check us out over at ComplexityGaming.com, where we've actually got Complexity coverage of HoN Tour for the next, well, 3-4 months, however long HoN Tour is going for, 4 months, 5 months. But we're going to be keeping that regularly updated, so ComplexityGaming.com. We've got an event coverage portal over there. Also, check out Complexity at Twitter, Complexity Live, and Facebook at Complexity Gaming. So make sure to check that out, guys. I've been your casting host, Beef. You can check me out at Twitter, at BeefPotPie1. You can see it there at the bottom of your screen, but make sure to check that one out, guys. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Game 2 of the series. Stick right here, guys. Twitch.tv/ComplexityHoN.